So when I got qualified, my major initial stint was in a public sector, in petroleum sector, Indo-Burma Petroleum, and later on in Biko as company secretaries. They are also in the actual field. Those seniors of mine told us to follow the law in letter and spirit, and they actually did it. And what they were saying that we as company secretaries should make our company as a model corporate citizens.
Hello and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast brought to you by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm truly looking forward to today's episode because joining me is someone who brings together a rare blend of corporate governance, legal finesse, public speaking mastery, and lifelong learning. He's worn many hats over the past 3 decades, from Associate Director of Legal and Compliance at Cognizant to now serving as a non-executive resident director on the boards of Indian subsidiaries of global companies. But what stands out most is how deeply committed he is to building responsible, ethical, and future-ready generations and organizations. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome Mr. Milind Kulabkar to the podcast. Sir, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tanay, so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be part of this conversation.
Sir, what I admire the most is that your story isn't just about corporate titles, it's about personal evolution. And today we are going to unpack that story, the moments that shaped your mindset, the disciplines you live by, and the values you bring into every boardroom you sit in.
Yes, very much. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Thank you again.
So we've touched on a few highlights just now, but I know that behind every role and recognition lies a deeper journey. To get us started and to help our audience connect with the person behind the profile, could you please take us through your journey in your own words? Like, how did it all begin? What's been the path that's brought you here today?
Just to tell you, it was Professor Rahman, my professor at the St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, way back in 1979 and 80, where he taught us secretarial practice. And while referring to that, one day he said, of course, there are chartered accountants, many of you are doing, some of you are doing cost accountancy, but there is something more, a new course which Government of India has come, which is Institute of Company Secretaries. And that institute trains students like you to become the compliance officer of the company, of a lot of companies, that you can become the chief compliance officer. So that caught my attention. So when I passed my graduation after my honors, I enrolled for the Institute of Company Secretaries. And I also enrolled for the oral coaching class, which is to happen in my old school in the evenings. And the faculty they were over there, they were all company secretaries of multinational companies in Calcutta. And the way they used to come in fantastic attire, the way they used to speak, I was just mesmerized. And few things they told us repeatedly, every faculty member: follow the law and regulations in letter and spirit. And don't be a stumbling block for your business. Be a facilitator and help them to follow their business with the proper regulations in letter and spirit. That way you will enhance the business and you can support the business, and that should be done. So when I got qualified, my major initial stint was in a public sector, in petroleum sector, Indo-Burma Petroleum, and later on in Biko as company secretaries. They are also in the actual field. Those seniors of mine told us to follow the law in letter and spirit, and they actually did it. And what they were saying that we as company secretaries should make our company as a model corporate citizens. So that was a great, post Calcutta, I moved to Mumbai in a manufacturing sector, in a flexible packaging multinational. There, I became the company secretary, the vice president of corporate affairs. I also enhanced the secretarial governance in their companies. It was a listed company, and I also followed what I inculcated from my seniors to follow the law in letter and spirit, make sure our deals are all clean, and that's what was told to us. And even in our company secretary institute, one of the motto is Satyam Vala Dharmam Chala, means follow the law in letter and spirit. So that was something I really learned. And every time I used to attend the Institute of Company Secretaries National Convention or any other conventions, they used to ensure that was the key word. Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chala. Follow the law, respect the law, and be truthful to it. Do it. Last 13 years before I retired, I was in Pune and thereafter in Bangalore and some part in Chennai in IT sector. There, of course, they were multinational companies. They also made sure they had some templates beautifully done to respect the law and follow it. So that has been my important milestone or training by which I trained. And even after my retirement, I have been following those in my both the companies. One is a Dutch audiovisual technological company and one Swedish gaming company. So that is what has been my motto in life. That is my company secretary's motto, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chala. That is, speak the truth and abide by the law. With this, I hand it back to you.
Lovely, sir. I think truly shows that a man of his word and of the law goes a long way, and that is something that everyone should take care of at the very basic level. Sir, in your role as a non executive resident director for global subsidiaries, you carry a unique responsibility, not just to ensure compliance, but to help these companies become true model corporate citizens in India. That's a big task in a complex regulatory environment. So, could you please tell me how do you personally approach that role? Like, what does it take to truly embed responsibility and purpose into how these companies operate?
Even when I was a company secretary in my previous company, Cognizant Technology, where I retired, before that in T Systems, a German company, and even earlier in Indian companies. So those were one of the few requirements that we had to do as a company secretary. And even my companies, some of them were listed companies. So they had stock exchange norms, listing guidelines, and even accounting practices. So while audit was going on, though accounting team was separate, I also used to be part of helping the auditors with various requirements. So there are a few guidelines which are there: related party transactions, risk assessment, fraud risk assessment, then risk matrix, code of conduct for employees at the workplace, hotline whistleblower, then other code of conduct of business, ethical practices, anti-bribery guidelines. So there are multiple of those. And even that are now being followed by me in my company when I'm there. Because I'm the only Indian director over there. Of course, when the accounts happen, the auditors also reach out to us, and especially those auditors who are multinational, those top five auditors or top four auditors, they also meticulously follow those things. So it becomes an inherent thing, and every the companies are also aware of those templates, and I also make sure at least a couple of times in our board meeting we take those corporate statutory compliances, risk assessments as one of the separate agenda in our board meeting. Maybe once in quarter when we have these board meetings, that agenda is covered. So we get a better idea, and especially I being now an independent director or non-executive director, I'm not a part of that company's operations. So I also help myself with getting of facts and figures by the presentations, the reports which are shared, and the questions which are being asked by me. That helps me to get a fair idea on how the companies are doing. Are they actually respecting the law and becoming a model citizen of our country? Over to you.
Sir, one thing I really admire about your journey is how deeply you stayed involved in shaping the larger narrative. You've been an active part of expert panels on economic affairs and IT with CII and IACC. From your vantage point, we'd love to hear how do these platforms actually influence what happens inside boardroom? Like, do they help shift mindsets, guide priorities, or spark the kind of conversations that truly matter for India?
Absolutely. It's Confederation of Indian Industry, CII, or Indo-American Chamber of Commerce. They are the members who are there on the expert committee. They are also very senior. They are either CFOs or managing directors. So they are actually the C-suite team or persons here, just part of that team. So they are also very concerned with the not only the regulations, but the way the regulations are implemented. And almost everyone wants to follow the law. Sometimes they have challenges. So advantage with when we are in this corner, the Chamber of Commerce. So we have a close connection with the other side, that is the department, the government side. And we have many times we are otherwise we go to them, meet them, or they come to our seminars. We share our concern. Like one important thing which is there now that we have for the Companies Act compliance, we have everything online portal called MCA portal. And every 3-4 years, they change the service provider. It was initially TCS, then it went to some other, now some third. But then there's some inherent challenges, practical issues. So how to help that? Even if we want to file it, it takes some time. So when we interact with the government department, explain our concern, they also become very receptive. So it is not like we are against the government. They also understand because they also want to facilitate the business. So this forums of Chamber of Commerce really is a great way to connect with the other side, the departments who are governing the law of that. And we as users and compliant team. So it becomes a very nice teamwork, and this forum really helps. And it's, besides that, even my Institute of Company Secretary, they also have a constant rapport with these government officials. And I make a point to attend many various workshops or conferences, national conventions, either at my Bangalore chapter or at the regional or even national conventions. So there we have senior people, bureaucrats, and even political ministers coming over there. They also are very receptive to understand that. Only thing we have to explain them in the language in which they understand. So that is what I helped, or it helped me to understand when I joined CIA as well as ICA. Yes, over to you.
Very well said. Say, as long as that conversation is happening, that is really important, and then
Mm.
the result is always in both parties' favor in some way because the dialogue has happened. Sir, with your extensive boardroom experience, especially working with global companies entering the Indian market, I'm sure you've seen firsthand how even well intentioned firms can miss the mark when it comes to compliance. So, from your perspective, what are some of the most common blind spots you've seen companies struggle with, particularly when they're setting up subsidiaries in India?
Yeah, so one point just touched upon the previous one is the filing of returns, whether it's Companies Act or even GST. So quite often, no, in India, there are so many people and so much of that platform is quite busy. So when it comes for the last date deadline, sometimes we miss it. Sometimes the mistake is not on the company side, but because of that the platform is not working or it becomes heavy, or there is some change in the service provider. So that time it becomes a bit of a challenge. So that time is interaction with them. So that is one blind spot because then, eh, for example, as a director, we have something called a DCS, we have a digital signature. So even the foreign directors who are on the board, they have to have a digital signature. Now, an OTP goes to them. Invariably, there's some issues because a person like me, when I'm in India, for me, OTP comes very fast. But for them sitting there, the OTP is missed out, or by the time they get it, the time is expired. So they get a bit irritated. So then we have to explain to them why it is happening. There's some technical barrier because the country where they are sitting, the time by which the OTP reaches and time when we have to file it, so 15 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute is there. So that I have to explain to them. Once they understand, then they become patient. Then maybe we have an understanding. When you are coming to India, that time we do it, not now. Be in the hole. So that way we help each other. Otherwise, they feel it's too much of an irritation at times. But more or less nowadays, whether it's in India or abroad, the laws are almost similar. So they understand the spirit behind the law. Only thing is, a time challenges are there, technological challenges are there. So it is explainable and we can take care.
Yeah,
Over to you.
because like working of the land is different in every place, I guess. Just
Right,
the
correct,
way
correct.
people are, the way they work. Simple
Mhm.
thing is hours of work also can be so different based on regions.
Correct, correct, correct.
So, with everything you've already achieved across industries, certifications, and boardrooms, it's clear that you believe in staying active, relevant, and always learning. That makes me wonder, sir, as you look ahead, what's next on the horizon for you?
Yeah. So now, one thing I realized, even after my retirement, I have to upgrade my knowledge multiple times. So that's why I finished my the post membership qualification in corporate governance from the Institute of Company Secretary. It's a diploma by which I can even put in front of me, and I had even joined Institute of Directors. So, and even I have qualified for that eligibility test for becoming a director. So those courses are really helpful because now that when we are on the other side, not actually employee of the company, but on the board as an independent, there are certain nuances which I, as a director, as a non-executive director, need to understand. And these courses are really a eye opener. So many things, the laws, I may be knowing it. It may be easy for me. But at the same time, how to communicate to my team, companies who are working, my company secretary in that company, what challenges he or she has, how to explain to her why it is significant, that becomes important. And that is one for which I also have to be knowledgeable. And of course, the technological changes which has happened. Initially, it was online filing. That was when technological changes, which started way back in 2006 for MCA and then the GST filing. But now, with artificial intelligence and all those, GPT, chat GPT, so there are a lot of things, even we are ignorant. So those trainings are extremely important to understand and how things can be made easier and how those technology are not an hindrance, but a strength, an armory for us to help. So that is something, continuous upgradation is very important. And these are the things from the company as a director. Besides that, the communication skills. I am a Toastmaster, I'm a distinguished Toastmaster. So communication, simple communication at the board, or even with your clients, how to talk to them, understand. And I'm a student of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. So that also is very important. Understand what others are saying, why they are saying so, why are they getting irritated. Once you understand the reason behind that, then my communication with him or her becomes easy. I can empathize and then get a hang, and then I can explain to them the way they can appreciate and become a very nice communication. So that's why this continuous upgradation is a must. And it's like a net practice. I may be a great cricketer, but if I don't go for net practice for 2 days, third day when I go, I may be finding it difficult to even hold the bat. So that is very important. So without this net practice, attending courses, giving some assessment exams, so those has to be done, and that helps me to be physically and mentally trained to do justice to my job.
That's amazing to hear, sir,
Over to
truly,
you.
that your want to learn is still so high, and that is a true inspiration for anybody who's watching today, where they should see that you have been learning throughout because you understand things keep changing, so one has to keep learning. So I truly hope the audience also connects with that. Sir, with 33 years experience across both public sector manufacturing and high growth IT companies, what's been the biggest shift in how compliance and governance are perceived inside organizations today?
One point was my faculties whom I referred to when I was a student of company secretaries. From those days, which was 40 years back, they were continuously harping on that You have to be a facilitator for your business. You are not a stumbling block. So with that mindset, my job became easy. Of course, there were some seniors to whom I had to report. They were aggressive. They were CFOs. For them, only the finance is important. Other things are secondary. But to explain to them is very crucial that why these norms are required, why these disclosure norms are required, especially your listed company. So, and the significance of that. So it takes some time to understand, even if they sometimes get irritated or lose their temper when they are in a time when they are cooled down, explain why this was being asked or why it is important and how we are to frame the presentation. So once they understand, it becomes easier. So this is something over the years as a company secretary, it is a common thing. If a technical person is there or in government sector, when we have to work with government babus or something, they are very concerned with their procedure, but may not be knowing about companies act. So one has to go to them, talk to them, spend time with them, may not be in the office sometimes when they are free, reach out to them when they are in relaxed position, and then it becomes easy for them to absorb. So there are a lot of things like interpersonal management. So that is a very crucial thing for a company secretary as well as for an executive, non-executive director or an independent director. And then maybe even for life as such, like whether it's your own family or anywhere, the way you interact, where you communicate, understand that's one of the things. So those are what I feel is a very, the knowledge is secondary, but how you interact and
Yeah.
how you communicate, that is very crucial.
Yeah, basics, because people work with people first, right? And then with what they
Yeah,
know.
what you said is right, absolutely.
Sir, you've always championed continuous learning and staying ahead of the curve, and that's reflected in your recent decision to join Directors Institute. Given your rich professional background and boardroom insight, we'd love to hear how has the experience been so far.
It was a very refreshing experience because now when I'm joined over here, even what I had done in the past, sometimes we take it for granted. But then when a faculty member, when on Saturdays, when we actually hear to those experts talking about a particular subject, which I may not have handled or that may not be my area, but when they explain, it becomes very important to me. For example, there's something called CSR, corporate social responsibility. Maybe my company for which I'm a director, that is not applicable because profitability is not there. But my second, when I heard about that CSR requirements norms in one of those trainings, it becomes very easy. So I have now following with my company. How much is your thing? Are you crossing that threshold limit of 5 crores this year or last year? Let me know. So that becomes very important. So those sessions, the Saturday sessions videos, again, there are a lot of books on various topics and which makes me successful even at global outlook, especially like companies for which I'm a non-executive director. They're global companies. So I become very supportive or helpful to them because then the terms which I use from those chapters, they understand and they are having global template for that. Our conversation becomes much more interesting, especially for corporate governance or statutory compliances. So those are so thanks to Directors Institute for helping us out in this respect.
Thank you so much for this kind words, sir, because it has been a privilege. Your journey, the depth of your experience, and the way you continue to evolve, it's nothing short of inspiring. So, from compliance insights to personal discipline, you've given us, trust me, a lot to think about.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure for me too. And it was even eye-opener when you asked these questions. And it was enriching for me to go back to my past experience, what I've learned and shared with you. Thank you for that.
Absolutely, sir. Your words will definitely resonate with many. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining on to FaceTime with Leaders, brought to you by Directors Institute. Until next time, keep learning, keep leading, keep striving, and as always, have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm good.